As a leader, how agile are you and how agile is your company? Can you dodge bullets? If you can't, or if you can, watch this video to maximize those odds. Hello, everyone. My name is Tim B. Green, and this is Crush It Club episode 94, Neuro Agility in Goal Setting and Behavior. Not enough space on the screen, so I'm just going to make longer titles based on what's most important and put the start at the beginning or on the screen. Okay, so you can't dodge bullets. So what's really important to me is I'm working really hard on each one of these episodes. They don't take long to make, but they do take a lot of commitment and the transcription. So I would love it. Please comment, share, and subscribe if anything in these videos is beneficial to you, if you learn something new that you can use as a leader of your business. And if there's something you don't like, I would also love to hear from you because I'm always looking to do everything I do better. Thanks. So in this episode, this video, we're going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about, agility as being the ability to adapt and change behavior instantly or in no more than a few days, right? When a monkey's climbing, that's why I've got this monkey here, because he's agile when he climbs. When a monkey's climbing, he can't go for a committee meeting to see what the best place to put his hand is. If he misses, he could likely fall to the forest floor and die immediately, or a slow, miserable death. I know that's a dark image, but that's the reality. He has to be agile. Resilient probably isn't going to do a lot of work for him. So when I'm speaking about agility, I mean simultaneously or interchangeably agility, neuroagility, and adaptability. Now, there's a term I was thinking of today. It's called ambiguity tolerance. And that is in a situation where you're not sure what to do, how well you can function, focus, and be adaptive in that situation. It's often used in language when somebody's unclear, or at least in the settings I've used it. It's like, what is somebody supposed to do? And that's also why in Cialdini's 7 Levers of Influence, that's where the social proof comes in. When people don't know how to behave, they look to others. Their lack of ability to understand what to do in an ambiguous situation is an example of ambiguity intolerance. It's like, well, I don't know what to do. Somebody with high ambiguity tolerance looks around, thinks, and then takes action despite or in consort with what's going on around them. Okay, so they have obviously people who are really have high ambiguity tolerance tend to be leaders. So in the case of agility, neuroagility, and adaptability, all of those terms can be thought of simultaneously or interchangeably throughout this video. So let's see here. Unlike that is resilience. Now, resilience is, agility is the ability to dodge the bullet. Resilience is the ability to withstand the harm the bullet causes you and to recover from that injury. You decide which one is a more effective approach in your business and in your life. So the two terms, agility and resilience, are related but different. Agility is preventing. Resilience is toughness and recovery after the fact. So in this way, there's an analogy between brains, your actual brain, and businesses and companies, in that all brains and all companies are the same with respect to agility and resilience. Both have unlimited adaptability. Your company can adapt. Obviously, it has to be built in. You have to be able to adapt as a leader. But for example, we're going to switch specifically to brains for the moment, because this is true for both brains and businesses, but I have to do these one at a time. All brains have finite neuroplastic resilience or recovery capacity. If you get a brain injury when you're young, you're very likely recover 100%. But then when you're old, if you have any kind of neurological damage, you have already used up your lifetime neuroplastic resilience capacity. So unlike neuroplasticity in the broader sense, neuroplastic recovery or resilience from damage is finite, and once it's gone forever, which means you have none left to recover another time, or less to recover, okay? It's the same with the company, except in the company, that neuroplastic recovery we would think of as being the finance, right? The finite financial resilience. You only have so long and so much money after a problem occurs to fix it, right the ship, and get back in black before the company fails. Adaptability, unlike resilience, is fundamentally, generally speaking, basically unlimited in capacity, unlike resilience. So because of this, agility is more likely to save your life or your company's life than resilience after you've already taken that bullet. Okay, so think back to Q1 of 2020. Did you have a plan in place for COVID-19? I didn't, and nobody else did, because you can't plan for what is unknown. So you're forced to adapt. In this case, you have to rely on resilience at first, that is surviving until you can get back on your feet, but also use your adaptability then. You can't avoid COVID-19. So you have to be resilient and use your body if it's your body, but your company and its finances. But you know that's a finite resource that you can't stay down on or draw from forever. Better to be adaptive. And those are the companies who did the best as COVID progressed. Okay, so we can't see or set goals for unknowable things, but we can always and ongoingly train agility into ourselves. That is neuro-agility, flexibility in thinking, and those mindsets, even though there's no way we can plan for the unknowable. We can absolutely plan for or train in agility. So when the unknowable happens, we dodge the bullet instead of catching the bullet and then going to the hospital. So here's what happened. When COVID first happened, and most of the time thereafter for the first year or so, rigid goals failed. That is, outcome goals with specific minutiae steps. Somebody said they'd planned their 1, 5, and 10 year. That's a delusion of control. We do not have that kind of control over outcomes. We have no control over outcomes and complete control over our choices, actions, and the time we spend acting on those choices. Okay, so over planning and those tiny steps that, because we had the full plan, became irrelevant. What if instead you just had a crystal clear definition, dumped all your over planning, because the reality is the universe and business is too complex to plan for all the unknown variables and all the uncontrollable variables, that is, any variables outside of your control, which, sad to say, are most. So the idea of a 10-year, a 5-year, or even a 1-year plan is a delusion if it's planned around the outcomes as being your mark of success. That said, you can set inspiring destinations for 1, 5, and 10 years, then plan your next immediate action, given the knowns at that moment, and start acting on them to move towards the destination in the most efficient manner possible. Now, as you move towards that, that would be a process goal. Now, as you move towards that destination and you finish your current activity, your outcome goal, it often becomes very clear what the next step is. And if it isn't, you can reorient towards that destination and then just clearly know your next action. Any actions beyond that, again, are more of a delusion of control. So you can train yourself and your leaders to be more neuroadaptive instead of just resilient, and it will improve outcomes because you'll prevent problems or absorb them immediately and fix them right away. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about neuroadaptive stuff, especially flexibility mindsets or adaptive mindsets, and why they're better than the neuroplastic recovery or resilience mindsets. That is, okay, how can we tough this out? But be clear, we both need both. But if you set agile adaptive goals and you want to set agile adaptive goals, download the checklist. I was going to put it here, but I didn't. Download the checklist, which will have a link in the description. That's it for Crush It Club episode 94, Neuro Agility in Goal Setting and Behavior. My name is Tim B. Green. Bye for now.